okay? Can't recall what we once knew. Stuff that we've been learning throughout our life. Anterograde, we can't learn anything new. So any type of information that comes at us that might be new, can't remember it. An area that's going to be important to form memories is our hippocampus, because what it can do, organize that sensory information and cognitive experiences while it's occurring. Let's say the operation of the microscope for the very first time. All right, probably occurs back in grade school at some point for the microscopes. So our hippocampus, well, it's going to take our sensory information that we might be getting from that, like the touching of it, the looking at it, the manipulating, whatever the case might be, and while we are doing this, help us make a memory of that. So the next time it comes along, hopefully we've had some sleep, all right, and it's done. We know how to use it. When we sleep and we get to go into the deep sleep and the REM, and we get to cycle throughout the night, consolidation from all of this input will occur. And anything that was done during the day, because until this occurs, everything is short term. Nothing becomes a long-term memory until the sleep occurs and consolidation takes place. So unless that occurs, it's short term and you're not going to retain it. So long term will occur. The cerebellum, therefore, can help us learn motor skills. Think about people who may have a job where what they do is repetitive, where they constantly do that all the time. They'll eventually get to a point where they don't even think about it anymore. They'll simply be doing that job and not even paying attention to what their hands are doing, because that's what's happened. Whatever they've done has now gone into long-term memory. And then the amygdala will help put emotions to it. When you put an emotion to something, the chances of learning it are much greater. The chances of it becoming long-term memory are greater. Think about, do any of you have like an emotion, a memory from childhood that kind of just stands out for you? And do you know, or do you realize or recognize the emotion that was put with that? It might have been, wow, my mom made me go get my hair cut that day way too short and I hated it, but I put that emotion to it. And that's a memory that stays in my mind. So emotions to something are going to be making it a much greater memory. The process that actually occurs for memory consolidation, the process that occurs, believe it or not, is very complex. It involves synapses in those neurons and certain chemicals being present, and those synapses functioning for it to occur. It's a very complex process. Emotions are the result of an interaction between my prefrontal cortex and my diencephalon. What are the parts of the diencephalon? We just talked about it. Hmm? Do you remember the thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus? So this is going to require, remember how I said, you know, the memory, the emotions, all of this is kind of a little bit complex. This is looking at another area of brain now, not just the cerebrum. So how does it work? Our prefrontal cortex is our seat of judgment, intent, control of expressions of emotions. Basically, it's the area where we decide how to appropriately show feelings in our prefrontal cortex. However, in areas like the hypothalamus of that diencephalon, our amygdala, another area of the brain, they are going to have the ability to help us have these emotional memories that are going to help survive. For example, recoil from a venomous snake. But wait a minute, how did I learn that? Nate?
Is that like from our ancestors, like throughout time?
Right, because we're going to be taught generation to generation something like that. We're going to be taught how to not eat the poisonous food. We're going to be taught how to dress properly for the weather, okay? And so these are things that we're going to have related to these different emotions, memories, and so forth. Now, this amygdala that's in the limbic system, it's going to get information from vision. I should have a comma there, but I don't. Hearing, taste, and smell. My special senses, not the general. Okay? They're going to help us mediate an emotional response. For example, what do you do when maybe you're just walking and, you know, just going along, but then you hit the bad smell? I mean, do you just keep going, oh, nice, woo? Or do you kind of go like, oh, good grief, and start turning around? Okay? Have you ever wondered how or why that might occur? No? Your response to a foul taste? No? Would you believe me if I told you it's instinctual? Okay, think about it. Over the geological time scale for man, okay? Got to remember, yes, those caveman days existed, okay? But their way of survival was different. They depended, not on language, okay? They depended on sight, sound, smell, taste, okay, to stay alive. Why was their bodies covered in more hair than what we have today? Anybody know why? Temperature.
I guess protection. When you feel things like if something's close, like
Oh man. Ooh, oh, ooh, that hair standing up on the back of my neck. What does that mean? Yeah. That's instinct. Pay attention to it. We've lost it over time because we don't have to fight the saber-toothed tiger anymore. Okay? These are visceral responses that we're not even aware of. It's being picked up by the autonomic nervous system. We're not even aware of it. But they're for survival. So that bad smell back in the day would alert the caveman, maybe something's not right. They would go in a different direction. Something that didn't taste good, that could have been poisonous to them. This is the same thing that happens in other organisms. It's no different. A dog and their hackles rising up, okay, there's no difference. Hair would rise up, still does. So it's very instinctual. So it helps us have that role in basic survival, which is kind of cool if you think about it, you know? Because this information can come in, like I said, it's visceral. Because what is it going to do? It's going to play a part in that fight or flight, which we'll get into in the next chapter. And this is a lot of stuff we learn over time. Some of it just comes as basic instinct. Some of it we learn over time.
So, as far as taste, it's more of like a survival thing. It's not like, ooh, I think that's gross. Because
For us
we all-
now, yeah,
taste changes, you know.
it does. And, you know, the thing about this is a lot of it is based on now, a lot of it has become, I don't know the term I'm looking for. It's changed over time because we no longer have to depend on that sensation for life or death, for survival. Yeah. But take a break, be back at 10:30.